Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today, I'm here with another special guest, Vasilika Klimova, who is joining us all the way from Luxembourg. Vasilika is one of the well-known Google developer expert and Microsoft MVP. Not only this, she is the visionary founder of Skill Up School, and with over 14 year plus of experience, she is shaping the future of tech through development, education, and leadership. So, today in this episode, we will talk about her great initiatives. But before we proceed further, I would like to thank Vaslika for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us something about yourself.
Hi everyone. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Amit. About my experience, I started, already 15 years ago as full stack developer. Then I switched to front-end development and became team lead in this. Then I switched to more consulting and felt that I like more work with different projects and organize processes and etc. So it started when I was team lead a bit. Yeah, and then I had different experience. I also worked as DevRel in blockchain area, and my next adventure as a product manager.
Okay. Yeah, this is true. Like with so far experience, you have explored so many domains in different roles. And let's start from the beginning itself because you have 14 plus years of experience in the tech industry. So, what initially inspired you to start your journey as a full stack developer back in 2010? And later on, like how you draw your path?
Yeah, I think at the beginning I chose the profession programmer just because I had a computer since my childhood, since 3 years old. I like to play games, and I think when I wanted to become a developer at the beginning, I wanted to become a game developer.
Okay.
And at university, we had only C++ actually, so we didn't have anything about web development at all at my, maybe just like databases and cybersecurity a bit like this. But it was not so in detail directly about web. So yeah, and then just in my native city, we didn't have opportunity to become a C++ developer when you're a student. So no one was interested in students, especially with this like not um, very ideal graphic because you have still your lessons. And that's why I found a web development position, and it was like everything. So you like also system administrator. I also did the audio recording records
Okay.
for, because it was retail shop, so it was yeah, it was a lot of different things. But I think it just because there were no other opportunity to become a game developer at the moment.
Okay. So by any chance, like, did you get a chance to work upon any game development after later years? Like, did you get a chance to work with any of the game?
With games, no, but I think my dream already changed through all these 15
Okay.
years. So I don't feel now that game development is something that like I really uh, will be inspired. Now I think more about helping in some other industries, like more important things
Right.
to do, like maybe with nature or something like this.
Yes. Okay. And you just mentioned that you started your programming with C++. So, but there were not other options available for you in your academic time, right? So, let's say if someone in 2025 asks you to start the career with any particular programming language, although it depends on personal things, but and the interest, but what one language you would like to suggest to everyone to start with in year 2025?
I think now it's Python.
Python.
Because before I would recommend start with JavaScript, because JavaScript you need it on almost on each website if it's not just pure static. So because there are plenty of backend languages, but for styles and for animation, people still usually use JavaScript. But I think that front end now became really very complex, and for beginners from the first steps to become really like good junior developer, it takes
Mhm.
much more time than before. And also because there are a lot of frameworks, maybe you mastered one, but now you need another one for another
Right.
company. So, and market is not so good now. So that's why I would recommend Python, because now it's more on hype, and you have like, you can be backend developer, you can be something with machine learning do with Python, and you can do QA testing with Python. So plenty of options for Pythonists, I
Right.
think now.
Okay. All right. So let's talk more about your journey, your career, because when we look towards your career, it evolves from developer to engineering manager, then entrepreneur, and right now you are also serving as a product manager. So how did your career evolve from these so many positions, and how was those transition? Was it smooth for you, or did you get any challenges in between?
I think yes, I had some challenges when I started to become a team lead. So, because when you're just like developer in the team, you have your responsibilities of your tasks and that's all. But when
Mhm.
you become a team lead, in my case, I started to think more about business wise. So what business needs. And actually they needed, of course, more features. They didn't want refactoring as always. So they
Yeah.
didn't want bother with all these things. And I think for me, it was a bit tricky at the beginning to work and explain to my team that now we don't have time for like ideal and perfect code before deadline,
Mhm.
because we had sometimes exhibitions at this company, and thing that should be delivered. And it means that you don't have time, to apply all new features of last framework version that came out. So you need to wait when you want to do this kind of refactoring. And I think that was first part of this. And then I realized that actually I like not only go like deep into some tasks
Yeah.
or some technical things really, but go deeper into business wise, why we are building this feature, who are going to use these tools, and how I as a technical like expert can suggest how to make it better. So, and for me, I started to think this that I like all this like project management parts, I think, and that's why then I had when I had some free time, I started my company also
Yes.
later. So it all came from this because I like this stuff. I like organizing and optimizing some processes. And so that's why I think my path after also developer relations position, I understood that, yeah, I like this strategy thing, not only like, doing videos and doing public
Right.
speaking or whatever. I like strategic thing, why we are doing this. So why we go directly to this conference, for example. So, yeah.
Yeah. And right, like your journey sounds very interesting because the way you have adopt all those roles, and still you are continuing your contribution for the as a GD and as a public speaker also. So I just noticed that as a public speaker, you have given over 50 plus talks and organized 60 plus events so far. So what draw you
Yeah.
to the public speaking and community engagement? Like, was there any specific moment that encouraged you to do the start of these kind of initiatives?
So public speaking started when I went firstly to the Moscow JS meetup. It's like the biggest JavaScript event, not
Mhm.
conference, but meetup in Russia, where I lived there, when I lived there. So, and I think for me, all this community stuff, now I'm doing it in Luxembourg. We have here Lux Tech Pulse event.
Yeah.
It's also but it's not for only front-end developers now. So we decided to go and to rebrand it for more for different wide topics like a full stack, also AI. So we're interested in all this mobile also, and we encourage speakers speak about different things now, technical. And so, in my case, when I started, it was more about fun, I think, and networking, because people in the industry, they can share with you some insights not only about, tools you can speak, oh, you tried this, oh, we think about trying this like framework or whatever library also, like what's your feedback, and but also about companies inside, so you can know something about how the processes in the company do. Would you like to work there actually or no? So something that no one tells you during interviews, because it's another kind of processes. Yeah. And I like this, and I got a lot of friends from those meetups, and I love this. I love this community vibes.
Okay. And I think these kind of community initiative also encourage to start your own company because you founded the Skill Up School, which is one of your
Yeah.
best initiatives. So could you please tell the audience bit about this initiative, like what it is all about, Skill Up School, and how you are solving the issue of education gap between the tech education. So just tell us a bit more about the School Up,
Mm-hmm.
Skill Up.
So I think it started just because at the beginning in 2000, I think 15 or 16, I was invited to some online, it was not online, it was offline schools in
Okay.
Moscow as a teacher. So for me, it was new experience, and I agreed because it was like some extra activities for me, for also for money, and it was fun because I needed to create my own program, how I would give like people web basics. It was the course mostly about web basics and a bit front end and a bit full stack maybe, and so. I had this program. Evolved during the years, and then when I moved to Luxembourg, I decided that why not starting here something, because here at the moment there were not so many schools,
Mhm.
and the feedback from people who went to local courses, they said that it was a bit boring, and I wanted to do something more fun. So I
Yes.
like when there are interactive lessons, when there is this engagement, when you show, and people, why I like also beginners, because when you start do something with JavaScript, for example, or CSS, it's so easy at the beginning that you show and they, wow, it's so cool, all these
Yes.
animations, all these fun things that's going with the page, and how they can change for children. It's also was very interesting because I also had children courses a lot, and they were very amazed how they can, on their original website of their school, they can change colors or whatever, write something on the website. But of course, after refreshing, everything will go,
Yes.
like will gone. But it was still fun for them. So and I like this. I think eyes when people inspired with something, because when you have already senior developers and you explain them something about new features of new framework, you don't see these eyes.
Right. Yeah, and I think this is one of the best way to teach any technical concept because when you directly introduce students with those kind of benefits, like when they see their own GUI, they transform the websites, then they will learn a lot. Because learning it through the notebooks is a different thing, and actually performing those things on school website or their own website, this is one of
Mm,
the best way to teach anything related to technology.
yeah. And
So,
I think a lot, sorry, yeah, I think
yeah,
learning by doing is the best thing.
right.
So when you try something, and for example, something that already existed, not from scratch, because sometimes it's quite hard for beginners. When you have already some pre-ready website, and then they can change step by step some things, they understand how everything connected, how everything works.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one more question here regarding the same initiative, Skill Up School. So you mentioned about the courses. So are those courses available free of cost, or is there any particular criteria to earn that courses or learning material? Like how you?
So yeah, for now I'm not doing this like this in last year. I'm not doing them.
Okay.
But before it was available only in Luxembourg. When COVID started, it was online. So
Okay.
I actually had people not only from Luxembourg. And for now, it's on pause for now because I
Okay.
was like searching for a job, and yeah. I had so
Okay.
many things to do.
All right. Okay. Fine. Apart from this, Vasilika, you also started the cute Geek web development agency. So what was your vision behind this, and how did it evolve throughout your journey?
Yeah, actually, it was just because some people, some of my friends, they asked me for a couple years to build them a website.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was not easy website, like some services that where custom development needed, so you can't do it just with Figma or whatever.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I was thinking, oh no, I have some plenty things on my plate, so I don't want to spend time on that. But then when COVID started and I was like alone in a big house in my life, and I said, okay, now I have time, I guess, for all these adventures. And I started take some extra jobs, extra projects,
Okay.
and I understood that I like, but I didn't do it alone. So I've always found some people who can help me, my friends who can help me to build it. So we, my task was to discuss the budget for all of us who
Mhm.
involved, like designer, maybe for maybe backend developer, it was front-end developer. Sometimes it was even beginners when website is very easy, like just several pages, static ones. You
Mhm.
don't need, custom development. Beginners with my help, they can do it also. And so I always like this, I think, negotiation things when you talk with client and you want that client will be happy. And in the same moment that people who are involved in the project, they also will be happy with the payment in the end.
Okay.
So I think it worked for like all sides, and I like that. And now that's why also the reason that I think that I got more fun and happiness when I help build these projects and not just like, do only some features or whatever. So I can do them. I can be involved in development easily.
Yes.
But I now more enjoy about management part of all of this.
All right. Okay, so I think Vaslika, it's now time to talk more about your achievements. So let's talk about some of your great certification that you have earned. So you hold certifications like PSPO second, PAL1, and you are also currently pursuing PMP certification. So how have these certifications shaped your management approach, and what you think, like why these kind of certification are essential for anyone into the same role?
I think I would not say that this like essential skills, but
Mhm.
my certification as a product owner, advanced, and also the agile leadership, it helped me, to understand deeper Scrum because we were working less than years with all this agile, of course, techniques with retrospections and all these dailies and etc. But at
Right.
the same moment, sometimes I feel that people they like to just implement meetings or whatever Scrum supposed to be. But sometimes I don't think what's exactly the purpose of it. And
Mhm.
I don't like when people do something just because it's written somewhere. There is a rule.
Yes.
The rule is written just because of something. If, for example, some projects, they you need more time to, sometimes research or whatever. It means that you don't need daily meetings. A lot of projects working like that and very good. Like when you have two times maybe calls during the week or even one. It depends how much you involved also in the project because maybe you have several projects at the same time. I had this also when I was working as consultant, like on full-time job, we had this, and it worked quite good. So because people have a lot of things to do, and projects they're not sometimes very, fast to how to say to evolve. Sometimes they have certain budget per week, and
Yes.
that's all. You can't just like work for whole week on this project. So yeah, and I think that that course they got me understanding that okay, each time when you implement something new meeting because it takes time of developers of all members, not only developers. So you need to think, and I think you need to prepare the agenda proper and etc. So I started to think deeply about meetings. I also participate here in business school in Luxembourg. like they do MBA school, but they do also some courses, and it's also helped me to understand all these things. That sometimes meetings then are really unnecessary. When half of your team is silent on this meeting, it means that meeting is not important for them. They just spend time.
Correct.
And yeah, so I think it just like increasing your world with understanding, but I would not say that's essential. Maybe some practical experience sometimes much more essential than some course. And regarding PMP course, I started it. I still didn't finish this course. I put it also on pause for last month because I also was searching for a job very actively. I think I will continue, but PMP course is really very big and sometimes a bit boring.
Mhm.
But it has so many things inside this, much more than like Scrum or whatever, because PMP is really very, very basic about all this project management. I, I think it's useful, but you need to be ready that there are so many theory in this.
Okay. All right. So let's talk more about your expertise and the technologies with which you have created so many other great projects. So you worked on like cutting-edge front-end technologies like WebGL and the 3.js. So what do you think? Like, what are the biggest challenges are there in building the performant 3D apps for the browser? Because there are many other developers also who are utilizing these kind of technology, but is there any specific thing that you have noticed about these technology that makes it more robust for the 3D apps for the browser?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with all 3D is since the beginning, when I started to work with 3D in 2013 or 14 it was. So it was performance because even sometimes we try to check if it's an older browser, then maybe you need just to remove 3D scene and make some imitation of 3D scene, putting as like pictures, like imitation of 3D, just several pictures. And but when years were gone, so everything evolved, computers became much more performant, and it's still it became better, but at the same moment, still you need to think about performance. And when
Okay.
people writing there, there are a lot of ways how to write for and all this like with new constructions in front end because WebGL in the end it's API for JavaScript. So you write in JavaScript and uh, in the end, typical for is like sometimes works much faster than just
Mhm.
like all these new constructions because like it's abstraction on the in the end on the for with some extra things. And so you start to think about such small details because I know that now even not a lot of people think about rendering of the page, but Google actually doing a lot of things to explain us that your rate like in the Google search will be much better than
Yeah.
if you like do this for your website, if you do fast rendering of the page. But at the same moment, with 3D, it's very, very important because you have so many complex objects sometimes on the scene, and you need to think about that. Not only just like stopping the scene when you don't interact with it, it was the basics, but when you go deeper, you can think about like not showing object that you don't see, don't show like back don't render back of the object that you also don't see because you see only front of some objects, and more other techniques actually in 3D. So like show simple version of this object if it's very far. In games they use it a lot
Yes.
also. Yeah, so there are plenty of things, but I think performance it's the most important part for that. So because people like fast interfaces and they like, of course, if it's a game in browser, of course, it should be also fast and very interactive. No one likes lags.
Okay. All right. So now we will talk bit about your philosophical things because as you have contributed for the IT industry as a teacher, as a developer, as a community leader and public speaker, you have worked with almost all roles, right? So what do you think? Like for you, what is the meaning of success in IT industry, and both professionally as well as personally. Like, what do you think? What is the actual meaning of success for you? Because this is something that is different for everyone. So I just want to
Mhm.
know like how it is different for you.
Uh, sorry, just put the camera back.
Yeah.
So I think the success for me, it's if you feel happiness. I have a talk actually, Happy Healthy Team, and I think
Mhm.
it's what the talk. My camera is moving, sorry. My talk was born because of my feeling that some people come into industry just because of money, now.
Mhm.
And industry now is overloaded, I would say, and market is not in the best state now. So I think that when you feel yourself on your place, like you like your job, or whatever you're doing, even if you change from development like me to management, it's okay.
Yes.
So some people like I know that some people in my networking, they like to become technical, leaders,
Mhm.
architects or whatever. It never was my dream, but I knew it because I always was not the standard, I think, developer. I like to develop. I like super practical things, but then I like to deliver things and not like to think about what's the will be the best library for this, because there are so many ways to do the same thing. Of course, you need to think about the best solution, but in the end, it's all about business and who is first and the best and the fastest. So yeah, I think it's just your feeling, how you feel yourself. Because if you're not happy with your millions of monies, then it's not good.
Okay. All right. So you just mentioned about the network, and we all know like for every person in IT, there are lots of support from family members as well as from the colleagues. So and this is also a fact that behind every successful person there is a network of support. So for you, who were those key people who have guided, inspired, and supported you throughout your journey so far?
I think at the beginning, I felt inspired by my father because
Mhm.
he was a system administrator and we even had the same specialty. But I didn't choose it because of him. I just was looking what specialty has more programming. So I
Okay.
just chose it because of it. But I never would say that my father was involved a lot into my profession when I already chose it. So he inspired me at the beginning because he brought to home the computer and I started to play and look how he's doing and fixing them
Yes.
as system administrator. So I like that, but I never wanted to work, with all this. Things, physical things. I mean, in the computer, I like more soft and fixing problems on the software level. But then I had some friends who actually believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. And first, my course of my university, it's my friend Dmitry Brin. Brin, yes, not not from Google, but Brin, and he did a lot of, I think, in a lot of things to inspire me to believe in myself that I can do it. And there are also different people, of course, who showed me that my limits is not my limits because I thought that, okay, the biggest position that I can ever achieve is team leading. That's all. Like, yeah, I'm developer. What can I do more? But now I understand that no, I actually want to have big projects. I want to be responsible of them and help developers to grow also, and to think more about business wise. So there are such people who inspired me. It's a bit more management way. And my husband also, because he's supporting me in everything, he's going with me to conferences and etc. So he did a lot of support for the last 4 years that we are together. Yeah, I think that's it. There are plenty of people. I think I
Yes,
can, yes, I can count them for a long time.
yes, I agree. Like it's not that easy to take all those names together, but yeah, it's a good thing that you still shows your token of appreciation for all those person who have helped you in your journey. So this is a great thing. And okay, so Vasilika, like although like there are many things, plenty of things that we can discuss here, but just as we are on short on time, so I would like to ask my last question, and that is this is related to your hobbies only. So what do you think, like what are those activities that you pursue when you are not working? So what things keeps you motivated and inspired?
I like watching movies when I'm very tired. So
Okay.
it's a type of escapism for me. I like fairy tales, fantastic sci-fi, to just to leave this world and think about something else. I like diving. I like animals a lot, so I like diving into sea world, sea
Okay.
animals. And I like reading, but actually don't read so much last times. I think because I was feeling a bit tired, but I like it. I like also my favorite were fantasy books, but now I read more about profession, so everything that can help me to grow. What else? I like board games with good companies with my friends. I like it a lot, and I love to meet with my friends because now I live in Europe and there are so many people around. In each country, you
Mm.
have some friends, and
Yes.
I really enjoy meeting with them and spend some time with them when I can. When I go to some country for events, for whatever, I try to write people that, oh, if you have time, let's meet. I also enjoy it a lot.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Vasilika, for joining us in this episode and for sharing so much information regarding the web technologies and your great initiatives. So thank you once again for being a part of the show.
Thank you for inviting me again. Yes, it was a pleasure.